Hey everybody. I've been experimenting a little bit with getting a little better light when I film because I'm looking at some of these videos and I don't even recognize myself in the video. So I went upstairs where there's some actual natural light coming in here. And I think it makes a big difference for your video when you can actually see yourself. Anyway, so here are a few things that really irritate me. One is the refrigerator. People leave the refrigerator open. What is it with the leaving the refrigerator open? I know a lot of people who are very poor, and when I'm at their house or at my house, they open up the refrigerator and they just leave it open. It costs money. There's so many areas where we're wasting it, and where the government or big business helps us waste it. Like trying to convince us that our milk is expired, that our milk is bad, and it's drinkable milk. And it makes you think because the dairy industry tells you, hey, this milk, throw it away. Throw the milk away, it's done. Hey, if the milk tastes good, drink the milk, right? It's like they're even putting freshness dating on toothbrushes. So now you're using this toothbrush and then it has a little line on it. And as soon as the line goes down, you're supposed to throw your toothbrush away? Come on. Medicine. My wife had me throwing all this medicine away. I said, we can't throw all this medicine. She said, well, all the medicine's expired. Then I look online, turns out that medicine's good 25 years after it expires. Most medicines, the worst thing that happens after 25 years is they become a smidgen less effective, and that's it. So, anyway, we're being programmed in the society to be very wasteful. I think with our cars, they trick us into doing too many oil changes. Let's see, what's another one? Mold on bread. Now, I think I'm pretty frugal, but when there's mold on bread, I throw it away. I throw the bread away. My dad will come in, he'll pick the mold off or not pick it off, and he'll just eat it. And he'll say, if you were on a boat, you'd eat this. And I'm like, we're not on a boat, man. We're in the house. We're not on a boat. We're not starving on a boat, fighting over our last piece of bread. So you see, my father's trained me well. So when I see the refrigerator open, all right, we have air conditioning on a hot day. The air conditioning's on occasionally. I don't like it on, and the kids will leave the door open. I go nuts. I mean, that's incredibly wasteful. It's so easy to get ripped off. Okay, there's this green nutrient powder that I buy at Trader Joe's. It comes in a big container, and it's like $20 for this big container. Well, they have a container that's half the size that costs half as much. But if you read what it costs per ounce, there's the exact same amount of powder in both of them. You pay twice as much money for one, half as much for the other. Well, that makes good sense. So now we have to start paying attention to not just what the packaging looks like, but how many ounces of product we get with our food or whatever it is we're buying. So we have to be smart consumers, not wasting stuff. Okay, so if we have fruit in the house and the fruit's getting ready to go to waste, whether it be berries or bananas or whatever, I peel the bananas and throw them in the freezer, make a slushie out of them. We got vegetables. We buy vegetables, and no one wants the kids. They're not really big on eating vegetables, so I have to trick them into eating vegetables. So when I boil up potatoes for mashed potatoes, I hide the cauliflower or broccoli. I boil it with the potatoes, and then when I whip it in there. They can never even tell it's in there. And instead of adding a bunch of butter, I like to add soup broth. And I don't like to spend money on soup broth because soup broth is really expensive, and I think it's a big waste. Those dogs, be quiet. Hey, be quiet. And you want to save a lot of money? Don't get dogs. Don't get dogs. They'll drive you crazy and poop everywhere. And here's another way I like to save. Like, my wife bought this almond butter instead of peanut butter for the kids for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We'd have almond butter. No one ate it. So instead of letting it sit there forever or throwing it out, I made almond butter cookies, oatmeal cookies, and I just dumped the whole thing of almond butter in there, and they're eating them. Bread maker. You can save a ton of money. You can save a ton of money by making your own bread, and making your own bread is delicious. Why don't we do it? Because we did it for a while, and everybody gained 10 pounds in a week. So sometimes, in order to be frugal, you also have to back off and say, wait a minute, am I going to ruin my life with this new great savings idea? I like cheap clothes. I buy cheap clothes. Look, I've had these pants, these 501 jeans. I've had the 501 jeans for 20 years. I've had these pants, and they're just regular Levi's. The shirt was given as a present. I try not to spend more than 10, 15 bucks on a shirt, 20 bucks on pants, and I wear them until I wear them out. Guess that makes me a bit of a slob. Did I mention shut the fridge? Whenever we go to a restaurant, always order water. Don't spend money on drinks. Drinks are so expensive. What a waste. So when I was a kid, my dad was the town janitor, and now he's a multimillionaire, self-made multimillionaire. When we were little kids, we would go out to one dinner out a week. We would go to Thrifty's. Thrifty's was a discount store, but it also had a little diner in it. They had meals for like 29 cents and 39 cents when I was a kid. I'm 46 years old. So 25 cents. But what would happen is they charge you 15 cents for a drink. It was almost half the cost of the meal, and it drove my dad crazy. So my dad wanted to drink milk. As a kid, we drank milk, and my mom wanted a Pepsi. So we would sit in the car before we went into the restaurant, and we would drink our drinks. And then we would go into the meal. So my dad was very frugal, and sometimes frugal's stingy, but he was very frugal. Frugal. You don't want to be such a miser that you end up destroying relationships and not enjoying your life and having other people resent you. And that's a tricky part of whether you're going to be frugal or whether you're going to be cheap. Because, even though I like to save money, I do like to buy quality, and especially food. I try to buy organic. And we want to buy good stuff. Just because it's the lowest price doesn't mean it's the best deal. So I figure not only price per ounce, but also things like morality. Like I pay a little more for my bananas because my bananas are not only organic, but they're also fair trade. So the people that are growing the bananas get a living wage. Well, one last little trick. For guacamole, you want to take half the fat out of your guacamole and have it taste better. I put frozen peas into the guacamole. It's kind of fun. You stir them in frozen, and then when you're eating them, they pop. They taste really good. And when I open up a can of food, like a can of beans, and like a sludge, like let's say like dog food or some sort of thick something in a can, and you're trying to open it, you can't get all the stuff out. Instead of doing that, you cut the top, then you hold it upside down, then you cut the bottom. And as the air releases, the whole tube of everything that's in the dog food or whatever it is comes out, goes, and it drops, and you get everything, and the can is like completely clear and empty. Anyway, I like being frugal. Let me know how you're frugal. Let me know if it works for you or if it doesn't. Thanks. And if my wife calls and says, hey, I'm going to order Chinese food, I'll say, don't pay for any rice. Let me steam some rice. Because rice is something I can do. Why would I pay a Chinese restaurant to make me white rice? Steaming rice is, a no-brainer, right?